Hello everyone. Welcome to session number 2. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic that is called epigenetics. So basically, epigenetics talks about how the environment can impact your health. First of all, one thing that I want to repeat, as I said on the session number 1, is that we are going to talk very simple. I know that there's a lot of people listening or watching these videos that they do not have a background in nutrition or health. So we are going to try to explain every concept in a very simple way. If we're going to talk about epigenetic, the first things that we need to talk about and we need to know a little bit more is what are genes exactly. So in this case, we should think about this. Think about your genes as your body's instruction book. So, like a recipe book. This book holds all the information to know how your body is going to operate. So, starting with detox pathways, for example. So, this detox pathway can influence in the way that you detox different things from the environment, things that we are exposed daily, the way that we are going to hold more inflammation in the body, or the way that all these things like inflammation or toxins can impact in our oxidative stress. That is the way that basically we age. Oxidative stress is related with premature aging. Then other things that could be included in those genes on that handbook is brain chemistry and mental health, which is something that we are going to talk about in this session as well. So these can include neurotransmitters, can include sleep. Also, if someone suffers from depression or anxiety, that could be included in that area in particular. And for everyone is different. So another area that we can explore that could be included in this handbook is exercise and recovery. We all can exercise, but maybe we don't have the same results about that exercise. We don't have the same performance, so we need to exercise differently. We don't recover from that exercise the same way maybe as another person that has a different gene expression. So another area is nutrition, metabolism, how important that is, because we are going to talk about diet, we're going to talk about nutrition in other sessions. So the nutrition metabolism, according to our genes, can influence in the way that we absorb or digest minerals, vitamins, fats. All those things could be in that handbook. So another area, very important also, is disease risk. How important this is. If we talk about how we are going to age, if we are going to have any specific condition or any type of disease like cardiovascular health, or maybe if we have anyone in the family like suffering from diabetes, it's because probably that is in that recipe book. Or other type of diseases or conditions like autoimmune conditions. We're talking about Hashimoto's, thyroid issues, and the well-known cancer. Okay, we already talked about genes, and now we're going to dive more into the epigenetic concept. Okay, what epigenetic means? Epi means above, and genetics means genes. So basically, anything that is above our genes is talking about epigenetic. So think about our genes about like switches. So they can be turned on or off. So if we think about our environment being this epi, meaning above our genes, anything that can influence our environment, anything that can come from our environment, about all the areas that we already talked about, they can turn those genes on or off. So just to quote a very simple example, if we think about a condition like any type of disease, right? We can have as a family genes for different diseases like diabetes. But then the way that if we exercise, if we eat healthy, if we have a good environment, like good family environment, that can influence those genes are going to turn on or they could be staying off. That means that we are not going to develop diabetes. Okay, now we are going to start talking about key factors that can influence from the epigenetic factor, meaning things from our environment that can influence these switching from on to off of our genes. So things like diet, stress, sleep, environment and toxins, and also physical activity. So if we start with diet, for example, nutrition. So I always mention to my patients in my practice that there's no one size fit all. So you can be vegan, you can be vegetarian, you can follow a keto diet, you can follow a paleo diet. That will basically be according to how you feel the best. For sure that there's guidelines, and there's is better to include a lot of vegetables, maybe like a portion of fruit, maybe 1 or 2 a day, clean animal protein, clean dairy, all those foods are okay. But then when it comes to a healthy way of eating, there's different ways of eating healthy. Basically, one rule for everyone, that is not eating processed foods. If you're eating paleo, if you're eating vegan, as long as you're not eating processed food, no artificial sugars, I think that could be considered a healthy eating. And that is going to impact very positive in your genes. Then we can continue talking, for example, about stress. When we think about stress, in general, people relate stress to work, to a job. But there's different ways of stress in your body. For example, your emotional environment, I mean your family environment, your relationships, the way you exercise, and also very important and sometimes forgotten, sleep. If you don't sleep well at night, if you don't get your 6 to 8 hours a day, that can really stress your body. But also the timing for sleeping is important. Actually, is one of the other areas that we're going to address when it comes to different things that can impact it from the environment in our health. So sleeping, let's talk about a little bit more about sleeping. It's not just about sleeping or getting enough hours. It's also at what time of the day you sleep. There's different ways of considering good sleep, but that mostly goes from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. Sleeping straight, not waking up to go to the bathroom, those things can also be considered good or bad sleep. So think about how you're sleeping, how that could be impacting in your body from a stress perspective. Also, going back to the previous category, when it comes to stress in family, environment, your relationships, how you're doing with your partner, how you're doing with your kids. Do you have a good communication? Do you feel that there's something in that area that you can improve? Well, think about that and maybe take in consideration as a goal to reduce your daily stress. Well, another very important daily habit that we can consider that can influence from the environment, our genes, is toxins. Something that we are exposed daily, from the toxins that are outside our homes that we don't have control about, like fumes, air pollution. But then we do have also our homes, and there's a lot of things that we can do or change in our homes to have a less toxic environment. From the toothpaste that we use, the creams that we use, makeup, maybe the cleaning products, everything can be transitioned into more natural products. When it comes to food, something that they ask me a lot is about organic. Sometimes I understand that organic is more expensive, but then you can look for options like local farmers, or also if you don't have the chance even about that, the local farmers, you can buy the regular foods and maybe cancel different lists that you can have access online. For example, there's a very popular list that is from US in particular, but then it can be canceled in every part of the world. That is called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So that list contains the cleanest 15 foods and then the 12 dirty ones. So that means that the ones that are in the 12 list are foods that you need or must buy organic. So if you see strawberries on that list and you go to a supermarket and you cannot buy the organic ones, don't buy it. And when it comes to the cleanest one, those are foods that you can buy even if they're not organic, because they are supposed to be very low toxicity. So even if you cannot do that, or you don't have access to a lot of the foods that are in the clean 50 list, you can also get, for example, an ozone generator for home, and you can also clean your vegetables, your fruits with that ozone machine, and that will basically turn them into an organic product. Another important one, stay active, something that is related to exercise, the way that you move every day. If you are an active person and you like to go to the gym, or you practice a sport, or you go running, well, that's excellent. But sometimes I know that there are people out there that maybe they cannot do a lot of exercise because they do have a lesion or something that stopped them to do exercise. In that case, we need to think about just staying active. I mean, you can just go for a walk around your house. You can go, maybe instead of taking the elevator, taking the stairs, trying to do something at home that will basically implicate moving. Move. That is the goal. Okay, now we're going to do a small activity. We already talked about the areas of the environment can affect our health and can turn those genes on or off. Now we are going to think about questions to make us reflect about our own life. For example, how is my diet supporting my health? We already talked about how important nutrition is, the choices that you can make at home, different type of diets. Basically is knowing that the way that you're eating, understanding, listening to your body, and thinking about the way that you're eating. Is your eating supporting your health? Do you feel energized? Do you feel like exercising every day? Do you feel happy? Do you have regular bowel movements? Do you feel inflamed? Do you have bloating after eating? Do you have acid reflux? All those things you should think about, because that could be reflecting if your diet is supporting your health or not. Another question, how am I managing stress? Again, stress can come in different ways to our lives, different presentations. It can come from family, it can come from a couple, it can come from the way that we sleep, the way that we exercise, the way we eat. Different things can stress our body. So, are we managing well stress? Are we doing something? If we know that we have stress in our lives, are we doing something about that stress? Are we trying to change something, or we are in our comfort zone and we're just sitting there, just waiting for something to change? If you think about that and you know that you're going through stress, think about what things or what measures you can take, you can do, or anything that you can change in your life, in your daily life today, to work on that stress, because you deserve it. Another question, I'm getting enough quality sleep? Again, we already talked about sleep, how important it is, but now I'm going to explain something about the circadian rhythm. But that is going to be another session. We are going to get deeper on that topic. But circadian rhythm is our internal clock. So the way that we sleep impacts on that internal clock, because we do different things while we are sleeping. And those things are very important, because they have to be with the way that we detox. When we are sleeping, we are repairing our genes, we are detoxing, we are generating new hormones, new enzymes. So imagine that we don't have a good quality sleep, that we know that we are not sleeping good, that we are waking up a lot of times in the night, that we are going to bed very late at night. If you know how important sleep is from now on, you should work on it, because your health depends on your sleep. Another question, what small change can I make today? And that applies to any of the other questions that I did before. If I know that I'm not eating well, if I know that I'm stressed but I'm not doing anything about it, if I know that I'm not sleeping well, and if I'm not getting enough rest, so what I'm going to do today to make those small changes that are going to have a big impact in our health. Okay, so as a conclusion of all the things we've talked about today, we're going to talk about key takeaways, okay? Just to wrap up a little bit the topic today. So, Your lifestyle can influence your genes. We already have that conclusion. Small habits matter all the time. And positive choices support long-term health. This is basically a conclusion of all the things that we discussed about different areas of the environment that we can improve with daily small changes, and then can have big impact in our long-term health. So what this means, you are your own designer, meaning that you have the control of your life. If you can change all these small things in your life step by step, and then you will have great results. You think that you shouldn't do that? I mean, you have the opportunity to have control of your life, to have a great lifestyle, to feel good, to have good energy, to sleep well, to have great relationships. So I think that with small changes, small steps, you can achieve that. But you need to believe in that. You need to know that you can do it. So something that I want to go all to action. So we're going to talk about different things that you can change to have a big impact in health. Think about small things, like maybe adding one more fruit a day, add a salad a day to your meals, go for a 10-minute walk, maybe go to bed 15 minutes earlier, or maybe dedicate 5 minutes of your day to breathing, meditating, any of those techniques that can impact in your stress. So remember, you have the power. Small changes, big impact in your life. See you next session.